So percents are always out of 100. So suppose there are 100 grade 8 kids. It's a lot more than that. And 34 of them are wearing toques today. We could say 34 out of 100 are wearing toques, which is, we can say 34% of the students are wearing toques. Right? That's sort of basically how it works. Now, no, you don't need to worry. That's just me talking. Right? Now, percents can be written in 4 different ways. This is the most common way that we see. Right? That is called a percentage. Okay? But there are 3 other ways. Right? The other way, yes, Josh. Yep. Fraction is also a way of writing a percentage. Like 34 over 100. Yes.
Decimals.
And as a decimal. Okay? There's a last one. And that's what we're going to talk about today. Is using hundreds grids. Right? Hundreds grid. Okay?
I know if you take, like, if you get your, like, a grade on work or something in a fraction, you divide the top number by the bottom number and then times it by 100 to get percent.
Yeah. And if you just divide it, you end up with a decimal. That's your decimal portion. Right? Right? So it's called a hundreds grid because we have a grid with 100 squares in it. Wow. All right? Makes sense. Yay. Okay. So what we have here is 10 boxes going this direction and 10 boxes going in this direction. Okay? So if I asked you the question, what percentage is shaded in this box, shaded in this 100 grid, what would you say? Mason?
30.
30, right? You have 10 here, 10 here, 10 here. So altogether, 30% is shaded. So 30% is shaded. Right? And the person you're saying to, since you're using percentage, they know it's automatically, the total is 100 boxes and 30 of them are shaded. Okay? So if we have a question over here and we want to represent this percentage as shaded in boxes over here, how many boxes would we shade in? 8. Right? And now I will typically just go like this. That is 8 boxes shaded in. That's my answer. It's 100% right. Your answer could look like these ones shaded in. And that would be fine, long as you shaded it in 8. Or you could have tried to draw a smiley face, and that would have been fine, long as you are only using 8 boxes. Right? Right? So long as you're only using 8 boxes, your answer is correct. Now, for efficiency-wise, I typically go in a straight line. But everything is technically correct, as long as you have the right number of boxes. So here, for 94, right? I don't want you to count a 1, 2, 3, 4, and count up to 94. How many boxes aren't shaded? 4. Nicholas?
6.
So shade in everything except for 6 boxes.
Oh yeah.
Right? So I'm gonna pick 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Those 6 at the end there not to be shaded. But you can pick any 6 not to be shaded. All right? And that would represent 94. All right, so I'm going to fill this in. There we go. Okay. So long as you have 6 unshaded ones, you're going to be fine. Okay? Yeah. Some chapters are harder, some chapters are easier. All right? Okay. Now, technically, you can have percentages that are over 100%.
Yes.
I give you a bonus mark question on the test. You can score more than 100% on it if you get everything and the bonus included. So if your percentage is more than 100, you need to use more than 100 grid. So to represent a percent greater than 100, shade in more than 100 grid. So if we had 147 percentage we want to represent, we'd shade in 100 of them, so all in one, and 47 in the other. Yes, Henry?
Could you also just put more boxes in the first grid?
What do you mean?
Like instead of making 2, just make more boxes in the first grid?
No, you can't make them smaller. All right, we'll talk about that later on this lesson, what that means. All right, so we want 100 shaded in here, so all of the first one is shaded in. Then 47 of the other one. So remember, each line is 10, so it's fast. 10, 20, 30, 40, and 7 more. Right? Okay, so the next question is, hey, I want you to do 103.5. What does that 0.5% look like? What do you think, Josh? Half a block. That's why we can't split it in down. So we're going to do 100, then 3, then another half of a block for this half a percentage here. Excuse me. So all of this then 3, oops, too much, 3 and half. Okay, so we go halfway through that, and that makes sense, right? Because one whole box represents a whole percent, so anything less than 1% is going to be only a portion of a box. Okay. Okay. So on the next page, we're going to discuss more about these decimal percentages. Okay. So if we have a portion of a percent, which means a percent less than 1, right? We have something called a fractional percent. Because remember, a fraction means a part of a whole, right? So the last question wasn't too bad. We can shade in a half. But fractions and decimals can be any kind of number, right? So when we draw our picture, we need to be accurate enough that somebody reading it knows that's half, not 0.7, not 0.8. Yes, Josh.
Can't you turn the fractions into a decimal, then turn the decimal multiplied up by 1% to a percent?
Yeah, that's a part of it as well, right? So it all comes in notation. We'll talk about this, right? So if I wanted to represent, 3/4 of a percent, right? What does this mean? This means, going back to last chapter, is the bottom number tells you how many pieces there are, right? There are 4 pieces. So we need to take a percent, one of these boxes, and break it up into 4 pieces. That's what the bottom number tells you, right? Tells you break it up into 4 sections, right? How many total? Okay. The top number tells you how many you're shading in, just like the very first question on the test, right? I say, hey, what fraction does this shaded thing represent? This is how much you shade, right? So we're shading in 3 pieces. So here on our grid, we break it up into 4 pieces and we shade in 3, right? So on a 100's grid, it may be hard still to see that you shaded in 3 pieces out of 4 of one of these little things. So what we do is like a zoomed in drawing. So you'll see these things pop up, right? You'll see this kind of going like this. This is a zoomed in version of this. This was representing a fraction of a percent, right? So you can actually accurately read what portion this is. Okay, so what percentage does this represent? So remember, 7, thank you, Nicholas, over 10. There are 10 boxes. We shaded in 7. Now, 7 out of 10%. Not just 7 over 10. Each one of these boxes is a percentage. Okay? Okay. Let's do this one here. Whoever's phone that is, please turn it off. Okay, so this represents, yes, thank you, 1 out of 3 shaded. But that's not the complete percentage here. Right? We also have all this other stuff. Yes, Nicholas?
Wouldn't it just be 0.33%?
That's if we wrote it as a decimal. Here we're going to keep it as a fraction. So here, how many do we have shaded in fully? 75, right? 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 75. Not a half, a third. So this would be 75 and a third percent.
Looks like a 2.
Yeah, it does look like a 2. That 3.
That 3 does not look like a 2.
Not your 3, the percent.
Oh, my percent symbol. Okay.
It looks like a 2, and I was like, one of
Yeah.
them is a 2? What?
That's my really fast way of drawing a percent. As a teacher, you mark a lot of tests. You got to do a lot of percentages. To do this takes too much time, like that. All right. All right. So let's go here. Let's do the mini fraction first. Mason, you're not paying attention. You're doing this. What's this? What percentage is that as a fraction? What do we got?
5 over 3.
No, not 5 over 3. Over 8. Where does the 8 come from, Mason?
You're not supposed to wrap me up, man.
Yeah.
Astro said it.
8. There's 8 squares. Buddy, pay attention here. You said this is easy. It's only easy if you're paying attention. When it comes time to the quiz, you're going to forget this.
What's the quiz?
Next day, you know that.
I forgot.
Right? That's how it goes. Okay, so that's our portion here. How much do we have fully? Julia?
42.
42. So we have 10, 20, 30, 40. An extra 2 there, 42. And that small box, which is 5 out of 8%. Okay? All right. Take a moment. Do these 3 questions. Tell me what the percentages look like. Okay. Mason, since you're giggling, what's this?
42. And then 5, 8.
5/8, yeah. And don't forget your percent symbol.
Oh, I thought we were just supposed to do the 5/8. I didn't write 42.
Yeah, do you need the whole part as well.
I supposed to do all 3 of them?
Yeah.
Okay, then.
Okay, next one. Henry, since you're having a good old time.
74.
Okay.
8 over 10%.
Yeah, 8 over 10%. Thank you, Henry. All right, Bella. What do we-
18 and 3 over 4.
18.
Answer.
Mine was 27.
All right.
Mine said 27.
Upstairs 28.
Please let us know.
Okay. So here, I gave you the shaded in boxes. On this one, we want to create our own boxes here. So here, it says a significant portion of the world's fresh water is found in Canada. But Canada only has 1% of the world's 1.5% of the world's population.
What, actually?
Yeah.
That's kind of weird.
Yeah, Canada land-wise is pretty big, but people-wise, we're quite small country.
Asia has like. Is it China or Korea that has like a lot?
China. Yeah.
China, I think, has 1.3 billion.
Okay. Yes.
Don't China and India both have the same amount of people?
Yeah, I think they are the top 2 leading countries by population-wise. Okay, so getting distracted. Last time for your assignment. 1.5%. So we need to shade that in. So we want 1 full box shaded.
No.
Right? And yes, Bella?
The population of India is 1.38 billion. The population of China is 1.4.
There you go. Okay, so now, Mason, no. We want 1 box shaded, and it doesn't matter where that 1 box is shaded. I picked the bottom corner, you can pick the top corner, you can pick the one next to you here. We also want to shade in that 0.5%. So that means, since it's less than 1, we need to break this box up into pieces. How many pieces would we break that up into?
5.
Thank you, Junior. 2.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
All right, so I'm going to break this into 2 pieces.
Which way are you going to cut it? Oh, I did that.
You can cut it any way you want. I cut it vertically. And how much are we going to shade in? Half of it. Right? So shade in. A half. Okay. So that's in your zoomed in version. Then do a rough shade in on the grid of where it's zoomed in. Right? That doesn't have to be accurate. Let's just put it in there as well. Right? Okay. Next one. Henry, how many full boxes do we shade in?
18.
Okay.
No, really?
And it doesn't matter which 18 you're doing. I'm going to just go from the bottom. That's 10. And that's going to be 18. Now, Henry,
Yeah.
we have a portion of a percent
You divided this into 4.
into 4 pieces. Okay? When we divide our pieces, they need to be equal pieces. Mason, come on, turn around. Focus here, buddy.
We actually have to use a ruler.
No, you don't have to use a ruler, but I don't want to see pieces like this broken up. That's not equal pieces, right?
Yes, it is. It looks great.
You could go like this, roughly, or you could go like this equally. There have to be 4 equal spaces. It's up to you how to divide it up equally. I find to make quarters, to do the cross the easiest, but you pick what you want to do, how to make it look equal. Right? Then, how many do we shade in, Henry? 3. Right? And it's up to you which ones you shade in, but you're only shading in 3. All right. Right. Then you also try to replicate that a little bit on here, just so you can tell it came from there. All right. So that's it.